ADHD and depression be treated, even cured, by eating the right food? Professor Julia Rucklidge has long suspected there may be a link between our modern diet and a rise in mental health problems. So in Christchurch, she's carrying out a study that's turned up some groundbreaking results, that many mental illnesses may be combated when we get the right nutrients. It's controversial, but now European scientists are taking her theory so seriously, they're backing it with a giant multi-million-dollar experiment.
Dylan Benzatoon from Rolleston, just 8 years old, and proud to be right on the frontier of medical science.
I'm happy, and so, yeah, I'm just happy that I'm in the experiment and helping science.
Dylan is one of 93 Kiwi kids chosen for an experiment that could change the way the world treats some mental health issues. A pioneering study that has them closely monitored by specialists here and overseas. According to Pharmac, 18,000 New Zealanders are on medication for ADHD, almost half of them school-aged children like Dylan, and 50 infants. But psychologists told Dylan's mum his talents come at a price.
They found that it was borderline ADHD.
ADHD, that's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Is that there's never a quiet moment. Dylan can't go and settle and play by himself.
What about
I really didn't want Dylan to be taking any drugs.
That's the normal approach.
That kind of scared me a bit. I wasn't too keen on putting him on anything too hard.
So could there be another way, one that doesn't involve drugs and side effects? Well, take food. For decades we've known that what we eat can affect our physical health, but what if what we eat could also affect our mental health?
Can I just get some beets? I need about 2 cups of beets.
Let's go shopping with Professor Julia Rucklidge of Canterbury University's Clinical Psychology Department.
And can I get a mushroom port?
She's gaining international recognition for her research into the impact of diet on mental health.
While the brain is 2% of body weight, it does consume 20% of what we take in. And so it's the most metabolically active organ in our body. It's definitely the hungriest organ in terms of consuming the nutrients and requiring nutrients in order to function optimally.
Trouble is, she says, we're not feeding our brains right.
We need to be eating more cabbages and kale and choy and radishes and spinach and beets. We've given up on eating fruits and vegetables in the Western society. So when you eat processed foods, you won't be getting the essential nutrients that are required for all of the biochemical processes that are going on in your body. So your brain just won't have what it requires in order to function optimally.
Julia Rucklidge has long suspected there may be a link between our modern diet and a rise in mental health problems.
We would say that about 1 in 5 New Zealanders currently suffers from a mental health condition like ADHD, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. So it's actually about 20% of the population are suffering from some kind of a psychiatric problem.
This scientist, originally from Canada, is pushing a radical idea that nutrients and good food might be the answer to treating common mental health issues.
I decided that I should study these nutrients. As a scientist, we should be studying things that are controversial, that are challenging our current way of thinking. And so that was part of why I decided to start studying the nutrients, and I haven't looked back, and that was over 10 years ago.
So, could putting kids like Dylan on high doses of vitamins and minerals really help treat ADHD? It's the proof Julia will need to convince the medical establishment she's onto something.
How hard is it to swallow those pills? They're big, aren't they?
Piece of cake.
Yeah?
Or as other people say, walk in the park.
The pills are called micronutrients.
There's vitamins inside and they want to see if it gives a reaction.
Could you explain exactly what are micronutrients?
Sure. Micronutrients are simply the vitamins and minerals and amino acids.
The same nutrients you'll get in good food, but in super concentrated form.
The doses that we're giving are higher than what you would actually be able to get out of a daily diet. So you'd need to consume an awful lot of oranges and broccoli and asparagus and other fruits and vegetables in order to get the level of nutrients that we're giving.
Are you playing with fire here if you're suggesting to people who may be watching who are mentally ill that what they should do is throw away their pills.
I am not here to tell people to stop their medication. And in fact, I would say that if anyone was thinking about reevaluating whether or not they need to be on a medication, then they should definitely go and see and consult with their prescriber first.
Last year, Dylan and 92 other kids were placed on a trial of micronutrients.
When you take the pills, what effect do they have on your hyperactivity?
I think it drains my energy a little bit, so I get less hyperactivity and I am allowed to be calmer.
How does that feel?
It feels good because I can actually relax on the couch.
Next up,
he was pretty uncontrollable. What that behaviour looked like isn't somebody that I'd like to see back again.
so micronutrients, thumbs up
It's really been a massive game changer.
or thumbs down. ADHD took the brakes off Tim's behaviour, and not just on the ramp. At that stage, nobody had identified Tim's problem.
I had a head injury and we went to the Burwood Brain Injury Unit for that, and they did a series of tests and they established that I had ADHD, and then I was referred on to this study.
Tim was one of 80 who were placed on another of Julia Rucklidge's micronutrient trials, this time for adults.
So were you sceptical at first?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just a bunch of vitamins, isn't it?
By then, he'd almost given up hope of ever changing.
With our sample of 80 people, we were able to find a significant group difference between those who were taking placebo and those who were taking the micronutrients, such that we knew we were onto something. So just as
To Julia, there's no denying Ritalin can be effective with ADHD, but she says there is the risk, longer term, of side effects.
We've heard from a lot of families who have entered our trial that some of the reasons why they wanted to look at micronutrients was because the children, they can often get quite irritable in the afternoon, they get mood swings, they also have a difficulty with sleep, and they have appetite changes. In contrast, I can really confidently say that people who go through our trials are not reporting those types of side effects to us.
Half of those who received micronutrients in Julia's adult trial reported significant benefits. Tim Webb was one of them.
I'm 100% sure that these pills have changed my life.
So how do you know he hasn't simply grown out of it?
It's a good question. I'm not sure that we will ever know, and I really don't want to be given an opportunity to know, because there was a time where he wasn't on the medication for a week, and he was pretty uncontrollable. What that behaviour looked like isn't somebody that I'd like to see back again, for myself, but for him.
What damages?
Today, a calmer, more collected Tim works in management for the construction industry, a job he never once dreamt of having.
It's really opened up a whole new world of things that I didn't think I would ever have any success at. Being able to read for any length of time or sit still for any length of time.
He's been able to hold down a really good job where, as he said earlier, he felt he never was able to do that.
When people get well on the micronutrients, they get well across the board. So they'll report to us that their sleep is better. They'll report to us that their mood is stable, that they're calmer, they're better able to deal with the complexities and stresses of life. Our reliance on medication...
Julia's next step is global. She's been engaged as consultant on a multi-million-dollar European study of the relationship between nutrition and mental health.
I mean, it's so exciting that people have paid attention to the work that we've published, such that they're investing a huge amount of money to seeing whether or not they can run the type of study that can definitively tell us whether or not micronutrients is a viable way forward for the treatment of psychological symptoms in people.
In the meantime, Tim believes he's already living proof that a simple combination of vitamins and minerals can change your life.
These pills have definitely given me a sense of calm and an ability to sit down and do things like paperwork, whereas I've run a mile before, and I can just do things and remember. My memory's way better. So it's really been a massive game changer. It's completely different. It's night and day.
And Julia Rucklidge is expecting Europe to begin its research into her findings in September. 180 people will take part in a trial with micronutrients. It's all part of a major investigation into links between nutrition and mental health.